There's LA, but it's always kinda sunny out, and I don't wanna hurt no more. So I set my bar real low. I'm A-okay, I'm A-okay. You say it, but you just don't mean it. You're so insane, you're so insane. Shut up and just enjoy this feeling. Don't you love it, don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet, but I'm way less sad. Don't you love it, don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet, but I'm way less sad. And I'm not so mad at Twitter now. Living sucks, but it's sucking just a little now, and I don't wanna cry no more. So I set my bar real low. I'm A-okay, I'm A-okay. You say it, but you just don't mean it. You're so insane, you're so insane. Shut up and just enjoy this feeling. Don't you love it, don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet, but I'm way less sad. Don't you love it, don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet, but I'm way less sad. I may be wrong, I may be wrong. It's stupid, but it's all I have. Don't you love it, don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet, but I'm way less sad. Well, I can't fall asleep and I'm losing my mind, 'cause it's 3:30 and my brain's on fire. I've been counting sheep, but the sheep all died, and I'm trying too hard, but I can't not try. Well, I can't fall asleep and I'm losing my mind, 'cause it's 3:30 and my brain's on fire. I've been counting sheep, but the sheep all died, and I'm not dead yet, so I guess I'll be alright. Don't you love it, don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet, but I'm way less sad. Don't you love it, don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet, but I'm way less sad. I may be wrong, I may be wrong, I may be wrong, I may be wrong. It's stupid, but it's all I have. Don't you love it, don't you love it? No, I ain't happy yet, but I'm way less sad.
Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion. Like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion. And all those things I didn't say were wrecking balls inside my brain. I will scream loud tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on. Starting right now. I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes, 'cause I've still got a lot of fight left in me. Losing friends and I'm chasing sleep. Everybody's worried about me. In too deep. I say I'm in too deep. And it's been 2 years, I miss my home, but there's a fire burning in my bones. Still believe, yeah, I still believe. And all those things I didn't say were wrecking balls inside my brain. I will scream loud tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned on. Starting right now. I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion. Like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion. This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song. My power's turned up. So right now I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else leaves, 'cause I've still got a lot of fight left in me. No, I've still got a lot of fight left in me.
You can have all the money in your hands, all the possessions anyone can ever have, but it's all worthless treasure. True worth is only measured not by what you got, but what you got in your heart. You can have everything, but what does it mean? It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. You can't just talk the talk, you got to walk that walk. Yes, you do. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. And I stand up for you. And I stand up for you. Yes, I will. Yes, I will. You do the best that you can do. Then you can look in the mirror, proud of who's looking back at you. Define the life you're living, not by what you take, but what you're giving. And if you bet on love, there's no way you'll ever lose. Take a stand, make a stand for what's right. It's always worth the fight. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. You can't just talk the talk, you got to walk that walk. Yes, you do. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. And I stand up for you, self-respect, dignity. If that's all you got, then you got all you need. And without that, you don't have a thing. Oh, no.
Rise up, love, lift your hands. I stand with you cause I understand. Ain't here to judge, just to take a stand. The greater plans, the creator's plan. Let's all rise like the day began. Reach out and touch with the Savior's hand. On rock we stand like his native land. Let the ways of love be the ways of man.
If you don't stand for something, you can't just talk the talk, you got to walk that walk. Yes, you do. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. And I stand up for you. Yeah, I stand up for you.
on inside my head, the drumming of the words you said. I cry and cry into the night. Don't wanna see the morning light. Why can't you just let me be? I'm not you and you're not me. Walk away, set me free, give me hope. Stand tall, be firm, stand tall, be heard. It doesn't have to be this way. Tomorrow is a bright new day. Stand tall, be strong. You know it's wrong. I know you feel so helpless now, but you can't let it bring you down. I see the light, the sun is up. I have to say enough's enough. I am safe in my room, but I will have to face them soon. Stand tall, unite, let's end the fight. It doesn't have to be this way. Tomorrow is a brand new day. Stand tall, be strong. Let's right the wrong. Difference makes us all unique. In different tongues, stand up and speak. You need help to make you strong. You're not alone or in the wrong. Hold your head up high. You belong. You stand tall, unite, you can fight. Your fight. It doesn't have to be this way. Tomorrow is a brand new day. Stand tall, be strong. You know it's wrong. Difference makes us all unique. In different times, stand up and speak. Stand tall, be strong. Stand tall, be strong.
The snow glows white on the mountain tonight, not a footprint to be seen. A kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. The wind is howling like this swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in, heaven knows I tried. Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage It's funny how some distance makes everything seem small, and the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let it go, let it go. I am one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. You'll never see me cry. Here I stand, and here I stay. Let the storm rage on. My power flurries through the air into the ground. My soul is spiraling in frozen fractals all around. And one thought crystallizes like an icy blast. I'm never going back. The past is in the past. Let it go, let it go.
Nothing like starting the morning with some Let It Go. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm the Reverend Christine Dance, and I am honored to be the minister at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix. Welcome to our online worship service. In this time when we are physically distant, we believe it is an act of love and radical inclusion to be online together in this way. For those of you who are joining us for the very first time, welcome. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Phoenix strives to be a spiritual community for our time, focused on diverse theological perspectives, radical inclusion, and knowing that issues of justice and equity shape everything we do. With a special awareness for those who have been historically marginalized, we welcome all, of every race, class, ethnicity, immigration status, sexual orientation, gender identity, religious background, mental and physical ability and disability. We welcome your whole self and your family, however you define it, into our worship as we build a community of caring and courage and hope. Our opening words are from the great Mahatma Gandhi. Anger and intolerance are the enemies of correct understanding. I invite you to grab a chalice or a candle from your home as my wife Karen lights our chalice here in our sanctuary, and we recite our covenant and light our chalice together. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to share our strength in fellowship. Thus do we covenant.
Hi, I'm Sarah Montgomery, one of your newest worship associates. Today is my very first day, so I feel nervous and excited. But thankfully, I am part of an experienced, compassionate worship team. Allow me to introduce our Director of Children's Ministries, Katie Resendez, and our pianist, Mary Coda, who is managing all of our music today. Today's Zoom operator is Bonnie White, and Kathleen Waldron is our chat chaplain. Becca Briley is our communications and technology coordinator. Our chat is open. You can chat with everyone or just to our panelists. It says hosts and panelists. Our service is automatically captioned for maximum accessibility. As always, we invite you to check into UUCP on social media with the hashtag UUAnywhere. There is so much to do in our community, which you can find in our newsletter, Compass. You can sign up for Compass at our website, phoenixuu.org. Thank you so much to everyone who showed up yesterday for our in-person gathering. It was so good to see everybody. If you didn't get to film your water pouring for water communion next week, or if you left your house 3 minutes before the event ended, like my family, please send a video or a photo to submit@phoenixuu by tomorrow. This week, we also have 2 big requests. The first is an important one-time ask. The memorial service for our longtime member, Bill Parker, is at UUCP this Saturday, September 25th, which would have been his 92nd birthday. It's an all-outdoor event starting at 9:30 a.m., and we are desperately looking for a few more volunteers who can point people in the right direction. It's all outdoors in the Memorial Garden and masked. It should just be in the 90s. So, and you get to see UUCP folks in person. Please contact administrator@phoenixuu.org if you can help out for a few hours. Second announcement. Is your social meter a little low? Now is the perfect time to join or start a small group. Small groups are the heart and soul of this congregation. This is the space that allows folks to come together for meaningful discussions that can create deeper connections. We need new small group leaders. As a leader, you decide how often and when the small group will meet, usually once a month. We'll give you all the tools and resources you need. You just have to say yes. Please contact participation@phoenixuu.org if you are ready to answer the call of love and be a facilitator for a new small group. And now Reverend Christine has a special announcement.
I do. Thank you, Sarah. It's so great to have you with us. I do have some exciting news to share with you all. The board has unanimously agreed to offer our Director of Children's Ministries, Katie Resendez, a 2-month sabbatical, which she will be taking in October and November of this year. So many of you who are already in academia recognize the power of sabbatical. It is a time to rest, reflect, read, soak in all the knowledge that you've been building over time so that you can come back and be an even more valuable member of the team. Sabbaticals are in my contract, but more and more congregations are understanding that there are other ministerial leaders besides the minister. Our board has granted that and understood that. And in a second unanimous vote, has asked the Personnel Advisory Committee to establish a sabbatical policy for our non-ministerial staff. While we know Katie's sabbatical is soon, it's really the best time for it for children's ministries. The summer is spent planning for programming. The holiday season is, well, the holiday season, and there are children's and youth services and bridging and all of that in the spring. In addition, our congregation is preparing to catch up with 2 key children's programs, Coming of Age and Our Whole Lives. So children's programming is actually already currently planned out through the end of 2022. Our children's ministry has a wonderful team that is ready to cover for the next 2 months. We have our children's ministry assistant director, Rose Coe-Pasco, and also a wonderful staff like Jess Putnam and the best organized team of volunteers a congregation could ask for. So I ask you to help us celebrate Katie and the fact that we are a community with such wonderful and professional staff, that we support each other in professional and personal ways, and that we enable professional and personal growth in ways that fully fit with our values. And so now here's Mary for our opening hymn.
Good morning, UUCP. Today's opening hymn is We Are a Gentle, Angry People, which speaks of holding love and anger at exactly the same time. I invite you to sing with me.
We are a gentle, angry people.
And we are singing, try that again. We are gentle, angry people, and we are singing for
our lives.
we are gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are young and old together, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are gay and straight together, and we are singing for our lives. We are gentle, loving people, and we are singing for our lives. We are gentle, loving people, and we are singing for our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. One day each month, we collect an offering for a community organization. Today's Share the Plate recipient is called Hope's Crossing. Hope's Crossing is a Phoenix-based organization dedicated to serving women who are reclaiming their lives from physical and emotional abuse, incarceration, trauma, sexual assault, addiction, or homelessness. Hope's Crossing offers job skills training, housing assistance, and most importantly, a program of emotional support to help a new belief system that promotes a sense of self-worth and whole and healthy living. A significant portion of Hope's Crossing alumni return to support the programs and mentor those who follow. We ask you to be generous in your giving to support the mission of Hope's Crossing. You can text UUCP to 73256, that spells realm. You can donate through the Phoenix UU website or send a check. And today we're grateful to have Laura Bullock, the founder, Chief Executive Officer of Hope's Crossing, here with us for worship today. And we'll also have a special breakout room for coffee hour where you can talk with her and learn more about Hope's Crossing. And if you know of an organization that you'd like to be considered as a future Share the Plate recipient, please contact sharetheplate@phoenixuu.org. For all that you give to our congregation, we are so grateful.
This next piece that I will play is the second movement of Beethoven's Sonata, Opus 90, number 2. And the translation of its title means that it should be played not too swiftly and with a singing tone. It has a very cathartic effect after the angry and tumultuous first movement. Many of Beethoven's later works express his anger and frustration at his increasing deafness and declining health, but also later an acceptance of that. And I think that we can see that in this second movement. While I'm playing, I invite you to donate to Hope's Crossing. You can find all the information you need to do that in the chat. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and thank you for being an amazing, amazing community. I'm Katie Resendez, and I'm the Director of Children's Ministry here at UUC Phoenix. You probably already knew that I'm Katie, and I'm the Director of Children's Ministry because I think we said it twice before already. I'm going to tell you something else we already know. I'm sorry is an incomplete sentence. You see, I'm sorry only begins to do the work of apologizing. And I'm sorry is about how I feel when I did the thing that broke community and that separated us. And I say, I'm sorry, I'm telling you how I feel. And then my apology has to go a step further. And in fact, we know there are 3 steps to our apology. First, we say, I'm sorry. And then we say what I'm sorry for. We name the harm. I'm sorry I did that thing. This is what that thing was. Sorry for it. But see, that's also an incomplete apology because I am offering the person I harmed something. When I broke us apart, I want to give something back. And I say, I'm sorry for doing this. And it's an offering. And it's something I'm giving to the other person, but it's about my power, my ability to offer them. And so now in my third step, I have to step back, and in hopes of staying in community with that person, I have to give them power. And sometimes that's how we share power, is by handing it all to someone else. And so I say, I'm sorry I did this thing. What can I do to fix it? And then I let them have the power. I let them have the power to say, I don't want to be in community with you right now, or maybe ever. Or maybe they say, here are the things you can do. But I hand them back that when I give a 3-part apology. I say I'm sorry. I say what I'm sorry for. And then I ask what I can do to make it better. I'm sorry I did that. What can I do to fix it? See, a friend of mine what they did made me so mad. I thought we were friends and I trusted them, and I never thought they would do something like this, and it just pulled us apart. And I don't feel like we're connected anymore, or at least I don't trust them. I don't know. And they're all about their 3-step apology. What can I do to help? I've got my own 3 steps. I'm angry. And I think that's the first step. It's really to figure out what I feel, where I'm at emotionally for me. And honestly, I'm so angry right now that I'm hot. My face feels flushed. My hands are tight. I'm holding my jaw tight. And I'm feeling sad and hurt. I didn't expect our trust to be broken, and I'm a little surprised. I can feel the surprise in my eyes and in my heart, maybe in my breath a little bit. And the sadness I feel in my shoulders. It's my first step. My second step is, how do I feel about my friend? I'm not just angry, I'm angry at them. Do I want to forgive them? So forgiveness, and there's so many different definitions of forgiveness, but forgiveness at its core is choosing to release someone else from some emotions that I might have, to free them from that. And really what it is the emotions around vengeance and the type of anger you might have at someone for how you want them to feel about the situation. So if I still want my friend to be sad about it, if I want them to feel bad, if I want them to suffer or hurt, then I'm probably not ready to forgive. And that's okay. I don't have to forgive. And to be honest, I am still very mad at my friend, and I don't think I want them to suffer, but I did think about them walking in my backyard barefoot with all of the goat heads. But I don't really want that. But I do want them to feel bad. Here's the weird thing. I can't decide whether or not they feel bad. But if I'm still holding on to that want for them to feel bad, then I haven't forgiven them. So no, I haven't forgiven my friend. So I'm angry, hurt, surprised, and sad. I know what my feelings are. I know what some of my feelings towards my friend are. I know I'm not ready to forgive them, but there's something else there. Do I still love my friend? Yeah, I still love my friend. I'm angry. I'm not forgiving them. I still love them. I have love for them. I've checked my emotions. I've checked how I'm holding my friend. Oh, and then that third step. What can I do to make it better? I don't know. Go away. Oh. I guess what that question is, what can they do to make it better, means that I have to sit and I have to decide, do I still want to be in community with my friend? What they did really hurt. And honestly, right now, I don't. But do I ever? I don't know. Yeah, I think I probably do. But if I didn't, that's okay. So right now, what I think I'm going to ask for from my friend is, I need some time, and I need some space, and I need to figure out what, after we pulled apart, what coming back together and approaching each other and being in community with them will look like or feel like, or how I have to feel safe or trustworthy. And they might say no to those things. And you know what? That's okay. If they don't want to do those things, then we don't want to be in community together. But I still get to choose how I feel about this, how I hold them. Because even if we don't end up in community again or close, I can still forgive them or not. I can still love them or not. And just like when they came to me and handed me back that power and said, what can I do to make this better? We can come together and share power and decide how we're going to move forward. And if we are going to do that together, it's hard when there's a break in community, when there's a break between friends or in a relationship, and when there's conflict. And it's so easy to get angry. And it's also so okay to get angry. But it's knowing that you're angry, knowing that you're feeling other things, and knowing that there is a difference between feeling angry and wanting vengeance on the other person. And you get to choose. You get to choose how you feel about it. You get to choose if you forgive. You get to choose if you love. You get to choose how you re-enter into community together. And you know why you get to choose? Because you have power. You knew I was going to say that, right? Today is all about stuff you already know. You have so much power, and you are so very loved.
Our next hymn is There is More Love Somewhere. Please join me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. There is more love somewhere. And let us find it in community now as we share the joys and sorrows that are in our hearts. It is good to share and to support each other. So please at this time, write any joys or sorrows that you have and you want our community to know about it. Please put your name at the beginning so that I know who it is, and put the word private on it if you don't want it to be said out loud. While you are entering your joys and sorrows, I do want to acknowledge that yesterday was the anniversary of the attacks of 9/11, 20 years later. It was a sobering reminder that this event changed our world's trajectory as we are looking at getting out of Afghanistan 20 years later and how all of that was connected. May we remember how we cared for each other in those days immediately following. But may we also remember how it was used to sow war and divisiveness. And let us still keep in our prayers all of those affected by fires, hurricanes, and earthquakes. I know there's so much going on in the world, and the news of those places has subsided, but please know that the struggles continue. Let us move now to the joys and sorrows of our community. Larry Reed and Linda Vance say, there are butterflies in our garden. Who can be angry? What a wonderful message. Oh, the greenery and the flowers and the butterflies. Y'all didn't tell me that Phoenix could be like this in the summer. Chris says, a joy that my husband Jacob is starting a fantastic new job after 15 years with his former employer. Congratulations. Eric Ariano says, a sorrow, my boyfriend James and I think that we have breakthrough COVID. It's not very intense, but the second time James has had COVID, so he's feeling anxious. And we're all feeling anxious with you, Eric and James. Hope you are feeling better soon. Catherine says, a joy that I got to see some of you at Granada Park on Saturday. I miss you so much. Oh, it was so great to see you, Catherine. So lovely. Debbie says, it was good to see some UU people yesterday with my dog Nando in tow. He had a blast too. We had 3 or 4 different dogs there. It was pure joy. Carrie says, joy, happy birthday to Johnny on Tuesday, although he will continue to be a kid at heart. Absolutely. And Susan Morris says, Jim Rasmussen is 90 years old, my second cousin, and my second and third cousin was my last connection to my mother's family. He died last week. I'm sad, but yet so glad that we reconnected with weekly phone calls for the past year. Oh, what a bittersweet memory, Susan, holding you and your family in our heart. From Jira, Tuesday is my birthday. I will turn 8. Happy birthday, Jira. Maybe we can all wish happy birthday to Jira in the chat. And another birthday, Katie R is having a birthday on Friday. Happy birthday, Katie. So, and another, it was great to see some of you yesterday. Much love to all of you. So I invite you now into a time in the spirit of meditation or prayer. I invite you to take a few breaths. Like take some real breaths. Center yourself wherever you are right now. And I invite you into a meditation on Yom Kippur, kind of following the same theme that we've been talking about by Reverend Victoria Safford. Imagine this. On the days between Rosh Hashanah, which was last Monday, and Yom Kippur, which is this Wednesday, every year, the people make their peace with anyone they have wronged or slighted or injured or in any way neglected in the past 12 months. The task is not to patch things up, smooth things over, reach a compromise, or sweep mistakes and uneasy memories under the rug. The task is not to feel better. The task is ownership. The goal is truth for its own redemptive sake. I did this, I said this to you, and it was wrong. I neglected this, I botched this, I betrayed you thusly. I demeaned you whether you ever knew it or not. This is the truth in which both of us are living, and I ask you to forgive me. Imagine how many deep breaths you would need to take. Imagine how many doors you'd have to knock on, how many phone calls you'd have to make, how many letters, How many lunches and coffees? How many awkward moments with your children and your parents and with strangers, including that cashier to whom you spoke so sharply? Awkward is irrelevant. The task is not about comfort, it's about truth, about wholeness and holiness, restoration. Imagine this. Someone has been preparing all year to speak with you, to write to you, to ask you a hard question. Perhaps in some way not quite conscious, you have even known this, and you have been preparing too. Finally, you answer the door or the phone or open the letter with shaky hands, and there it is, what you thought you'd been longing for, but really have dreaded. Someone is asking your forgiveness. The task is not about comfort, it is about truth. Awkward is irrelevant again. You get to choose now, you have to choose whether and how you will participate in restoration. Abandon the pleasant piety that claims knee-jerk forgiveness as the unquestioned moral course. You get to choose which way will be right in this case, between you as persons and with all your gods. What response will make the world more whole? Imagine. Something yearns in us to come round right. Something creaky, rusty, heavy, almost calcified within us tries, in spite of us and all of our fears and self-deceptions, to turn and creak and turn again and come round a little truer. Something in us stretches towards conversion. Imagine healing wholly from within.
Hello, everyone. Shana Tova. Happy New Year. Right now, we're in the middle of the Jewish high holidays, the week-long overlap between celebrating the New Year and making peace with the year before. Traditionally, this is a week for observant Jews to make apologies and restitution to those that they've wronged in the last year, to consider whether or how to forgive those that have wronged us, how to let that go in the last year, and for all of us to pray that God judge us kindly where we have wronged. All these tying up of loose ends from the last year so that we can start the new year with a clean slate. During the high holiday services, and particularly on Rosh Hashanah, the new year, synagogues have someone play the shofar, the traditional ram's horn trumpet, to signal the coming of a new year. Reverend Christine asked me to play it a little for us. I'll play the longer sequence that's traditional on the morning of Rosh Hashanah.
About y'all, but I'm really not good at feeling angry. When I feel mad, my go-to responses are to procrastinate and say like, ooh, now's actually not a good time to feel angry. Let's just bottle that up for later, okay? That way the anger can fester inside me and burst out later, probably at the people I love most. So I procrastinate, or the other option is to feed the anger, to keep reminding myself why I'm angry. I'll have these imaginary one-sided conversations with my boss or Kirsten Sinema or the Texas legislature. And I just keep shoveling in more coal and feeding that freight train of anger. Not great strategies. So my daughter Hannah turns 5 this month, and I know all parents brag about their kids, but I gotta say, Hannah is so good at feeling angry. When she feels mad, she expresses it with her whole body, and it's an amazing thing to behold. Hannah will pound her fists and stomp her feet and yell, "No, I'm angry." I get down to her height and I listen to why she's feeling angry, and we come up with a plan, whatever. But you know what? 2 minutes later, she's giggling and dancing, and it's like it never happened. I still feel the effects of the cortisol, and I taste the adrenaline in my mouth and feel it in my jaw, but she is totally fine. I suspect that we all start out knowing how to feel anger, and it gets socialized out of us. We suppress our anger to make other people feel more uncomfortable, or we'll act it out in the ways that we've been taught or shown. Well, I say nuts to that. I am going to reclaim my anger. I don't quite remember how to feel angry as well as Hannah does, but I bet it starts with thinking less and feeling more.
This next piece is Kol Nidre, which translates to all vows. It's a haunting prayer sung at the beginning of Yom Kippur.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mary. Every once in a while, I'll post something on Facebook just to start a discussion. About 6 weeks ago, when we started to see the surge of the Delta variant, I did that just as a check-in to see where people's hearts and minds were. I was expecting to see sadness and a sense of freedom, maybe being withdrawn. I was expecting to hear how tired people were of all of this, or confusion about what they should do and what changes, again, they should make in their lives. But instead, I saw a lot of anger, mostly anger. Anger that we didn't have to be here in this place. Anger that the pandemic has been politicized, which has cost lives. Anger that herd immunity was slipping from our fingers, and dealing with the reality that COVID is probably going to be with us in some way forever. But there was also a lot of directed anger, anger at them. Now, people had different ideas of who them was. Some of the them were people who chose not to be vaccinated or who weren't vaccinated yet. Or for those of you who are not vaccinated, them is those who were encouraging vaccinations. Or those of a political party who didn't react strongly enough when the pandemic started. Or those who watch a certain television station that promotes horse medication instead of a proven shot. Or the them that just fill in the blank there. It doesn't help that social media is so good at grouping all of them into caricatures and cartoons of buffoons and keeps on feeding it to us. Or that media outlets show pictures of people on street corners holding signs for their freedom. We create categories. This side of the them is upstanding, intelligent, and compassionate, and they are selfish, stupid, and unreasonable. It is easy to group all of them into one group. But when we do that, one, it's not one group, and two, we forget that we are talking about humans, our fellow humans, the humans that our first principle says have worth and dignity. And when I asked in the Facebook post how people were finding compassion for their fellow human, the answer was a resounding poorly. At lunch with the minister this past Wednesday, when we were talking about this service, someone said, "Oh, is this one of those sermons where you're going to ask us to be better than who we really are?" Yep, this is that sermon. But let me step back a little bit and talk about this anger that Katie talked about and Sarah talked about and that Hannah expresses, because this is not a simple anger is bad, love is good sermon. It's just not that easy, because anger can be good. Many of us were raised in homes where anger wasn't allowed. We didn't have moms like Sarah who got down on Hannah's level, let her rage, and helped her talk through her emotions. Instead, we were told that anger was bad and we should suppress it. And as a result, many people ended up in abusive relationships or situations with little voice to argue against it. And as people who care about justice issues, anger is one of our most important tools in our toolbox. We need to be angry at systems that are killing our Black brothers in the name of safety. We need to be angry that we're not just putting in enough regulation to stop climate change. We need to be angry at a justice system that has created a pipeline for our most marginal youth from schools right to prison. There is a lot to be angry about, and that anger fuels our most important movements. Without righteous anger, we have no change. And anger about COVID is also justified. Outrage is an appropriate emotion in this situation, considering that all that has been lost in COVID-19, lives, jobs, experiences, money, physical and mental health. And we want to assign blame for that to someone, to them. Now, I am a progressive liberal woman in almost every meaning of the word, staunchly. But I have been trying for years, for decades, to try to understand people across the gulfs of difference. I know many of you have also. And I need to acknowledge that this wish to understand is a sign of my great privilege. I can engage with people from all beliefs with relative safety, which many do not have that privilege. And I can seek to understand without condoning. I know that false statements by leaders can lead to dying. I am supporting a dear one in my personal circle who has a family member in the hospital because they were being treated for COVID with ivermectin, a horse medicine. I can seek to understand while still knowing that these beliefs are wrong and dangerous and hurt all of us. So what do we do with this anger? Well, you know I'm going to reference our first principle of Unitarian Universalism. We believe in the inherent worth and dignity of each and every person. Each and every. But you see, when we lump everyone into a group, the them, we take away that individuality. We're not seeing the individual. We are only seeing a monolithic group that we logically know doesn't really exist. And we are hurting ourselves. We are cutting off ourselves from the resources, the love, the care, and understanding that we may have from anyone we lump into that group. We remove the possibility that they can love and change us, and that we can love and change them. Maybe not their mind, but loving them. When we lump everyone into a them group, we are also inherently lowering them to a different status and elevating ourselves. How can we live fully into our own power without lowering others? Do we really have to denigrate others for us to be our full selves? Isn't that what we're actually fighting for when we're fighting against cruel immigration situations and racism? Can we disagree with individual decisions without turning entire groups of people into degrading caricatures? Are we holding up individual worth and dignity when we do that? And are we really helping ourselves? Is that how we're going to feel better about all of this? Is it working? Author Sarah Smarsh wrote an opinion piece in the New York Times entitled, "What to Do with Our COVID Rage." She said, "Anger is a contagious energy that jumps quickly from one person to the next. It will seize your mind and body as its host. If allowed to explode, it will hurt others. If allowed to implode, it will hurt you." I see this anger imploding and hurting us, festering in our hearts. How much energy are you giving in your life to this anger versus creating joy, like we talked about last week, or creating music or art, or making love? Spewing anger is not productive. How can we use that anger creatively? Katie reminded me last week of the great line from Rent in the song La Boheme. The opposite of love isn't war, it's creation. How can we focus that anger where it really belongs, on systems that have failed us rather than individuals who are being harmed by those same systems? How can we channel that anger to write songs about climate change or to make art that will spread love? Anger is a creative force. Let's use it. And I really want to challenge you here on something else. Is your anger really anger? Or is it a mask for fear? Usually anger is the convenient, spurted out emotion that if we were to have a little vulnerability and honesty, it's the mask that covers a scared child behind it. Someone who might be fearful of losing loved ones, more experiences, livelihood, or fear of more suffering for our fellow human beings. Anger is often the costume we wear because if we were to be really vulnerable, we'd have to acknowledge that we're not in control. And that makes us afraid. We'd have to acknowledge that we don't have power in this situation, and we desperately, desperately want power. So I don't want you all to leave this service and go out and say, Reverend Christine says we can't be angry. We need to just go love everyone. Please, we are not that simplistic of a people. We can handle nuance. We can handle digging in a little further. We can peel things back away from the sound bites. We can think in more details than a tweet or a meme. I encourage you to dig in further. I encourage you to examine what the strands are that exist in your anger and to see which ones may be separating you from your fellow human beings. To see if there is any of that that is making you feel superior. And to see if any of that is really fear. To see what of that is really systems rather than individuals. And after you've sorted through all of that, I invite you to look at the anger that is remaining and think about how you can use it creatively. How can you use it so that it isn't just stomach bile and instead can be transformed into art, protests, conversations, connection? Unitarian Universalism is not a faith that is going to tell you that an outside divine being is going to come down and sort all of this out, and all you need to do is just believe. Instead, we are a faith that encourages you to do the work, to reckon with your relationships with your fellow human beings, to dig below the surface, and to really think about how your values ask you to act. A line from one of our favorite hymns tells us to lead with love. I think that should be our mantra for the year again, to find how we can lead in our lives, in our community, in our world, from that principle of love. I know you are capable of it. I know that we are capable of it. Lead with love. Transform the world. Make it right with your relationships as much as possible. Convert your anger and hurt to hope and love. Lead with love now and always. So might it be. And this is where we've got the song Hope Comes, the video from the Banksons.
Hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. The part of you that is not alright, yeah, is also the part that loves. Part that calls in change, and you don't have to feel ashamed. There is nothing to forgive. The part of you that is crying out is the part that wants to live. Yeah, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. When your world is burning down, well, getting hot is a sane reaction, but one in need of action, because your spirit needs protection. So gather up your not alright. Gonna fall down on my knees.
That's not living.
I'm gonna say, will you help me please?
That's not living.
I'm gonna say I'm not alright.
That's not living.
I'm just trying to make it through this night. Yeah.
That's not living.
I'm gonna fall down on my knees. Yeah. Oh, will we say, help me please? Help me please. We can say, hey, we are not alright. We are not alright. We can help each other get through the night. Cause hope comes from the center of the hurt, in the middle of the dirt. We'll plant a seed and watch it grow into something we don't already know.
Thank you all for humaning with our tech problems. We're going to put that video on the UUCP Facebook page because it's fantastic. I also want to just say, I mention Facebook every once in a while. I don't friend congregants, but if you friend me, I will accept it. Some people don't want their minister on their Facebook feed, but if you do friend me, I will accept it. So before closing words, we'd like to invite you to coffee hour after the service. The link is in the chat and it will be on the final slide. Visitors, we hope you will join us. We're a friendly bunch. And we will have the breakout room for to learn more about Hope Crossing. I think that would be really important for you all to learn about. And a reminder, please keep checking on each other. In these high holy days of the Jewish faith, as Jews everywhere begin anew, starting with a clean slate and wishing for a sweet and kind new year, may we look deep in our hearts to see what kind of people we want to be. May we turn towards each other rather than away. May we live intentionally and wholly. And in being more whole, may we find the holy within. Amen. Blessed be, and Ashe. Go in peace, go in love. Lots and lots and lots of love.
Loving you isn't the right thing to do. And how can I ever change things that I feel? If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. How can I, when you won't take it from me? You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another lonely day. You can go your own way. Go your own way. Tell me why everything turned around. Packing up, shacking up, so you wanna do. If I could, maybe I'd give you my world. Open up, everything's waiting for you. You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another lonely day. You can go your own way.